Alright, so check it out. It's the summer of 1914. Franz Joseph has just taken a seat at his office, probably admiring his beautiful walrus stash, when he receives a message from one of his cavalry. The news about his death broke out like crazy, and so did World War I, with Britain, France, Russia fighting against Austria-Hungary, Italy, and Germany. A lot of stalemates happened due to trench warfare, with soldiers sitting in trenches and waiting for the enemy and vice versa. These fronts were broken with artillery, and new chemical weapons introduced by the German army were being used. By 1918, Germany is losing so hard because so many things went wrong, like the Schlieffen Plan against France and the Spanish flu during the 1918 Spring Offensive. Over on the Eastern Front, Russia was just burning down everything they could and fighting with weapons from dead bodies because they didn't know what they were doing. You get Americans coming in and nobody's winning in the Eastern Front. It's just depressing. The lack of food, weapons, men, munitions, poor strategies, and Austria-Hungary wanting to tap out from this war led to Germany asking for an armistice. By November 11th, 1918, Germany had agreed to the terms given by the Triple Entente and formally ended the war on June 28th, 1919, with all parties signing the Treaty of Versailles. Well, now that the war is over, we can go back to normal lives in Germany and oh no. How do you even fix that? From 1918 to 1933, Germany gained its first democratic party called the Weimar Republic and only lasted 14 years. I wonder why. With the signing of the Treaty of Versailles, Germany agreed to lose territory gained from the war, pay reparations to the winners of World War I, called the War Guilt Clause, and had a strict mandated policy on its military power. All of these topics are really lengthy and honestly so boring, so the most interesting thing about this whole situation was that Germany was struggling so much they used the money to make wallpaper and burn fires. Germany was able to stabilize themselves in 1924 with the Dawes Act giving them some leeway in paying reparations and converted to a different banknote called the Rentenmark. And then the Great Depression hit in 1929, effectively reversing the Dawes Act and went back to burning more notes. A lot of Germans resented the Weimar Republic because of the economic struggle and started appealing towards a very anti-democratic, right-wing party called the Nationalsozialistische Deutsche Arbeiterpartei. Now, I want you to take a guess at what I'm going to talk about next. Go ahead. After getting rejected twice from art school, he failed to follow his passions in architecture and music because he also failed to complete high school. In 1909, Hitler became homeless, stateless, and lived off his paintings and cheap labor. Hitler eventually involved himself in a long line of politics, along with his anti-Semitic values he acquired during his stay in Vienna. In July 29, 1921, Hitler became the leader of the I'm Not Reading That Again party and threw a coup d'etat in 1923, landing him in jail for, God, only 9 months. He wrote a stupid book called Mind Flop, or Why It's Always Someone Else's Fault and I Need a Pity Party, and once the Great Depression started, people started to support the Still Not Reading That Again party, garnering more attention for Hitler. Hitler ran for office in 1932 and was defeated by Paul von Hindenburg, but with so much support of the Nazi Party and a lot of backroom deals, Hindenburg eventually appointed Hitler as Germany's new chancellor on January 30th, 1933. With the death of Hindenburg in 1934, Hitler fused the chancellor and president role into the leader role, starting the Nazi dictatorship we know and despise. Hitler invaded Poland on September 1st, 1939, with the reassurance of his yes-men that Britain and France wouldn't commit to another war. So naturally, of course, on September 3rd, Britain and France declared war on Germany. For the next 3 years, Nazi Germany conquered Poland, Denmark, Norway, France, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Belgium, Yugoslavia, and Greece. German forces also went to go occupy some of Russia and support North Africa, the Balkans, and the Middle East, which are the arrows down the bottom right. The offensive tactic, called Blitzkrieg or Lightning War, was pioneered by German forces by using surprise tactics of infantry, artillery, etc., and achieving Vernichtungsschlacht, letting them conquer much of Europe. In a massive stroke of ego, Hitler said, let's invade further into Russia, called Operation Barbarossa, but failed to realize Germany was fighting a war of attrition here, not Vernichtungsschlacht. German soldiers faced logistical problems with supplies, money, and unfamiliar terrain that slowed them down, dying to Russia's naturally brutal winter and really an unexpected resistance from Russia. They thought they would just take them down so easily. With Germany's strongest soldiers just rotting in mass graves, Hitler asked his own military commanders, "Now what?" The best part is that Hitler appointed himself as the high command of the military because actual military strategists disagreed with the plans that he saw fit, which led to a gigantic counteroffensive from Russia. I'm sensing a pattern here of every time he's blamed someone else instead of blaming himself. So I made a comprehensive list of Hitler's 4 more reasons to blame everyone but himself. In the top left, you have him blaming Jewish professors for 2 rejection letters, when in reality, he just sucked ass at painting. In the top right, you got him blaming his own generals for military failures, when he just kicked out anybody who disagreed with him and actually knew what they were doing. In the bottom left, you got him blaming the Weimar Republic because of leftist Jews and Jews controlling the market, when the market just crashed. And the bottom right, you got him blaming the Jews for starting the war and that the German people didn't need him. He was just psychotic. This guy was just rambling. Also, he was Austrian. And that sums up the whole list. Actually, hold on, something's missing. There we go. In December 1942 to January 1943, Hitler refused to withdraw from the Battle of Stalingrad, which left like a 360,000 man army with 11,000 soldiers left. By January 1945, Hitler spoke on the radio of a ruined Germany, like literally demolished, there's nothing left standing, stating, "However grave as the crisis may be at this moment, it will, despite everything, be mastered by our unalterable will." On April 22nd, Hitler was informed about the Soviets entering Berlin and threw a gigantic speech about the incompetence of his generals, declaring for the first time that everything is lost. With all hope of Germany winning the war burning in the depths of hell, so did Hitler, because on April 30th, Hitler shot himself in the head in his bunker in Berlin. Good riddance. On May 7th, Nazi Germany surrendered in Reims, France, with a second surrender on May 8th in Berlin, demanded by the Soviet Union. There are so many topics that happened beyond World War II with Germany, such as West and East Germany and Berlin, and each of them being segregated and whatnot, but we're not going to go into that because I just can't fit it all into this video. Germany is a stable country with decent folk getting by as much as the rest of the world. Sadly, neo-Nazism still exists, but if there's anything you should take away from this video, is that it's okay to punch Nazis.